Man, let me tell you about the craziest birthday ever. It all started when Amy and Jared, my partners in crime, decided they were going to make this year's birthday unforgettable. And trust me, they succeeded, though not exactly in the way they planned. So there I was, hopping into Jared's car ready for whatever surprise they had cooked up. But before I could even buckle up, they blindfolded me. Yep, you read that right, blindfolded. Instantly, my excitement spiked. I had no clue where we were headed, but I could practically taste the adventure in the air. The car engine roared to life, and we were off. With every turn, my heart raced. I could feel the grin on my face growing wider and wider. What could they have possibly lined up? Skydiving, a secret concert, a trip to a tropical island. My mind was racing faster than the car. After what felt like an eternity of twists and turns, the car finally came to a stop. The engine went silent, and all I could hear was my own anticipation. They helped me out of the car and onto solid ground. Then came the real surprise. They were leading me somewhere, guiding me with cryptic instructions. Take 3 steps forward, turn left, watch out for the tree root. You can bet your bottom dollar I was nervous and excited all at once. As we continued, their voices started to fade, like they were getting farther away. Panic began to creep in, and I could feel my heart racing even faster. What kind of surprise was this? I tried to keep calm, convincing myself that the big reveal was just around the corner. But then, their voices vanished entirely. It was just me, standing there blindfolded, in the middle of nowhere. I must have looked like a lost penguin in the desert, stumbling around. And wouldn't you know it, my luck decided to give me a nudge. I twisted my ankle on some uneven ground and face-planted. Happy birthday to me, right? At that point, I couldn't take it anymore. I ripped off the blindfold, ready to soak in the surprise they had in store. Only the surprise was on me. Instead of a flashy birthday party, I found myself surrounded by towering trees and dense bushes. Like, we're talking real-deal forest here. My jaw dropped as I realized I was in the middle of the woods. Standing up and brushing off the dirt, I called out for Amy and Jared. "Guys, this isn't funny anymore." My voice echoed through the trees, but there was no response. It was like the forest had swallowed up my words. Panic started to rise again, like a sour taste in my mouth. What the heck was going on? With no sign of Amy and Jared, I took a deep breath and started moving. Left, right, forward. I was just winging it at this point. Every tree looked the same, every bush a clone of its neighbor. It wasn't long before the sun began its slow descent, casting long shadows between the trees. As daylight faded, darkness settled in like a heavy blanket. I could barely see in front of me, and the cold was gnawing at me. My stomach growled, and I realized I hadn't eaten since breakfast. Thirsty too, but who's counting, right? I leaned against a massive tree, hoping to catch my breath. The eerie sounds of the night surrounded me. Leaves rustling, insects humming, the distant hooting of an owl. I hugged myself tightly, trying to generate some warmth. My ankle was throbbing, and every rustle in the bushes set me on edge. I remember thinking, okay, this has to be some elaborate prank. Maybe Amy and Jared were hidden somewhere, laughing their heads off at my expense. It was either that or some wild reality show I'd been unknowingly cast in. Either way, I was determined to stay put until someone popped out and shouted, "Gotcha!" Time ticked by, and my anxiety refused to budge. I huddled against the tree, shivering both from the cold and fear. My mind was running circles, trying to piece together what had happened. Why on earth did they bring me to this forest? Were they waiting for me to stumble upon a secret treasure or something? Hours felt like days, and exhaustion finally took its toll. My eyes drooped, and I drifted into an uneasy sleep. But then, a sudden scream pierced the night. Amy's voice. My heart jolted to life, pounding against my chest like a wild thing. "Amy!" I yelled, my voice carrying desperation. The scream faded, leaving me in an even more suffocating silence. I strained my ears, hoping for another sound, a sign that everything was okay. But nothing. Just the haunting sounds of the forest around me. I was caught between wanting to run towards the scream and fearing what I might find. My mind raced with wild scenarios. Had Amy been attacked by some forest-dwelling creature? Was Jared hurt too? The darkness seemed to close in around me, and I hugged the tree like my lifeline. Every rustle of leaves sent my heart into overdrive. I didn't want to be dinner for any hungry critters, that's for sure. As the night wore on, I fought exhaustion tooth and nail. Eventually, fatigue got the best of me, and I slipped back into sleep. But then, a distant barking caught my attention. My eyes snapped open, and I could barely believe what I was hearing. Dogs. In the forest. My hope flickered back to life. Light broke through the darkness, and I could see figures approaching. People, not wild beasts. My heart soared. Relief flooded over me as police officers emerged from the trees like angels sent to rescue me from my forest prison. They covered me in a towel and handed me a bottle of water, like I was some kind of survivor plucked from a reality TV show. Jared's dad had called the cops when they didn't hear from us, and he led them straight to me. Man, talk about a real-life hero. The officers wasted no time. They got me checked out and hustled me into the back of an ambulance. It was like something out of a movie, only this time I wasn't just watching, I was the star. The drive to the hospital was a blur. Tests, questions, more tests. It was like the universe was making sure I was really okay. The medical team patched up my ankle and assured me I'd be all right. Meanwhile, the police and even Jared's dad continued the search for Amy and Jared. Morning light crept through the hospital window, casting an uncertain glow on the day ahead. A police officer entered my room, his expression grave. My heart sank as he shared the news. They found Amy and Jared, but it wasn't a happy reunion. Their bodies were hanging from tree branches like something straight out of a horror flick. I couldn't believe it. My friends, full of life and laughter just yesterday, were now gone. The forest that had seemed so mysterious and exciting had become a chilling scene of tragedy. Forbidden flowers of all things were found in their bags. Who would have thought those innocent-looking blooms could be tied to something so dark? Rumors swirled, a cursed forest, a vengeful spirit. Who knows? Nobody had the answers. All I knew was that the birthday I thought would be unforgettable had turned into a nightmare. The laughter and celebrations I had expected were replaced with a heavy silence, a void left by the absence of Amy and Jared. And so, my birthday story ends on a somber note. It's hard to believe that what started as a day of excitement and anticipation could spiral into something so tragic. I don't celebrate my birthday anymore, not in the traditional sense at least. The memory of that cursed forest, the loss of my friends, it's all too heavy to bear. The laughter we shared, the adventures we dreamed of, all of it now intertwined with grief. I find solace in remembering the good times, in cherishing the memories we created together. But every year, when my birthday comes around, it's a reminder of what was lost. Life has a funny way of throwing curveballs, of turning the unexpected into our reality. And as the years go by, I've come to realize that sometimes the most unforgettable moments aren't the ones we plan for. They're the ones that catch us off guard, the ones that leave us changed forever, even if we wish they hadn't. Hey friends, thanks for listening. Look forward, subscribe, and click on the notification bell for more future stories. Also, share your thoughts in the comments below. Got any stories to share? Feel free to send us your stories through the email provided in the description. Peace.